Beautiful.
Hey everybody. Micah Baylor here today with my friend Garrett. Garrett Hoyos.
Yeah,
Hoyos.
Oyo, silent H, just like in
Uh,
Mexico.
Man, one of these days, I'm gonna like say everything correctly. I just recently learned that Tajin is in fact Tahine. I'm kidding. Well, not really. That's a real thing. Anyways, here today though to talk to you all about a lot of stuff. We've got basically all of it. We've got VR, we've got psychedelics, we've got Ethereum, blockchain, a lot of really great stuff coming at you today. Um, without further ado, Garrett, say some things.
Yeah,
Let's.
well, Micah, thank you for the intro and the handoff. So we're definitely kind of going with the flow with this. I think everything is just flowing into itself, and it's pretty incredible the convergence that's happening on exponential levels. And so this we just got done mentioning before we started hitting record the exponential convergence of spatial technology. So essentially AR, VR. You want to give the rundown that you just gave me, just this whole synopsis?
Yeah, for sure. All of this coming from a book I've had my head in, a book I love. It's called The Spatial Web, but really a great, I think, painting of what the future is, really what all these exponential technologies coming together is driving towards and for us. And one of the things I think that gets confusing is like, is it the cloud? Is it apps? Is it AI? Is it VR? Is it blockchain? And there's like so many things. If you think about it, though, all tech just needs a tech deck, right? It's always about what is the tech deck that we are using. In the past, like in Web 2.0 is really the life we're living today. If you think about that tech deck, it really is the cloud supporting apps and mobile being the main interface we use. So if you think about like the interface, the logic, and the data levels of the tech deck, the interface we currently have is mobile, the logic we currently have is apps, and the data we currently have is the cloud. And all that we're moving towards with these new technologies coming together is the data layer becoming the blockchain, the logic layer becoming AI, and the interface level really being less mobile and more VR, virtual reality, AR, augmented reality, and the IoT, the Internet of Things, sensors everywhere and everything becoming liquid, fluid, and digitized. Stoked today, though, because Garrett is way, way further out there than I am on VR, AR, and doing some absolutely cool things in that space. So wanted to see if he could give us some insight today on the interface of the future. So, if you can think about how often you use your mobile phone, Garrett today helping us understand some of how AR and VR will replace your actual mobile, like some crazy stuff coming.
Yeah, definitely. It's an exciting time right now because they're essentially what we're doing is we're taking the ability. You have an Aura ring as well.
Oh yeah, man, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got a
Just on the
crown
point
yesterday
to.
on my recovery, but missed my sleep score.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I had to charge mine. Took me like 5 days to find my charger. Other than that, it's great. Uh, the and Micah's in Mexico, by the way. So your connection's coming in and out just on the video feed a little bit, but audio is coming through fine. Um, the Aura Ring is an example of this, where you take a $10,000 technology that you can make into a cheaper technology. VR is doing the same thing. So if you look at back when we were going to school in high school, before that, before Google was huge, I think of the iPod and before. Uh, the way that you learn is you're sitting in a classroom, or maybe you're hands on, and you're doing things. The experiential learning is the important part where VR really shines. So if you can take a kid who's learning from a textbook, I remember my art history class, for example. I hated art history up until college. I was the worst. But if I had VR uh, before or in that art history class, I would have loved that class. It would have been so awesome. So if you can take that idea of art history class, in the classroom, and you're learning, you're there, you're experiencing the paintings. There was a Rothko painting. I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh, this is dumb. But I was looking at this tiny little 2-inch thing until I went to an art gallery. When I went to an art gallery, I was like, whoa, that is breathtaking. Wow, that is incredible. And I just like sat in front of it for forever. That's what VR feels like. And so when you take augmented reality, which is definitely web AR is huge right now, where we're kind of in this kind of a hockey stick growth curve with web AR that's happening, where anybody is able to publish a filter and an experience that anybody with a phone can go view. And it's really incredible potential. I have right here, this is my Oculus Quest 2 that came out with my username. This is actually a joke from the year 2000 when I bet my brother $20 that this Aji Waji would become famous. Uh, I don't know if I achieved that success. I think I have to pay him $20, but the this is my avatar. So essentially, all of us are going to be able to have our kind of a separate identity and within these virtual worlds. And at first, I thought, no, I stepped away from VR. I wasn't really into it. And then as soon as the Oculus Go came out, I got super into it. The Oculus Quest 1, I said, oh, well, this is the future. Once you experience the Quest, you just know. And then the Quest 2, it's just high resolution. It's lighter. They kind of made it the Gateway 1998 Gateway color theme. So it's kind of a throwback, I think, to the early internet. So as we look into the future of VR and Ethereum and psychedelics, frankly, I think that there's this convergence happening where psychedelics can open up your mind to the possibilities that there are alternate realities, and that we have just barely touched the brink of our understanding of how the human mind works. The word psychedelic, I think a lot of people are kind of freaked out by. It just means mind manifesting. So it literally manifests the things that are inside of your mind, and it just brings them to the surface. And or it could. I think there was some old things saying that like it would melt your brain off, or different things like that. I certainly don't push the agenda for psychedelics. Like when I first did it, I was like, everyone needs to do this. I think everyone kind of gets on that same boat, kind of like the first time that someone experiences a $10,000 gain with Bitcoin, they're like, whoa, you got to come become a millionaire with me. It's kind of like that euphoria. However, once that fades and you kind of are like, okay, this isn't for everyone, but for those who, are ready, either if they're anxious or depressed, or they are looking for the something, not as entertainment, but for, awareness, or for to get into the meditative state. Interesting thing, a guy who, one of the head researchers for MDMA, he actually said that he went to a Buddhist monastery, and it was like 7 out of 10 of the Buddhists there, or the monks there, were actually, they were there because they had a psychedelic experience. And that just showed me, whoa, like there's something to these, whether it's mushrooms or DMT, whatever substance it is, like the earth has given us these gifts into the other side. And you can see that throughout artwork. So what I'm seeing here, as I get guidance in California, cannabis is legal. Mushrooms, Oakland, Denver, Oregon, these things are coming legal. MDMA is legal in Amsterdam. Amsterdam is known for their EDM artists. MDMA kind of does something to you when it kind of unlocks your creative mode, and some of these other substances do too. But I don't want to use this as a plug for psychedelics, other than to say, I think that once you can look at a piece of art and you can see someone's psychedelic experience on a piece of art. So if you can take VR plus what we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, Ethereum, and you can take so VR, psychedelics, and NFT, psychedelic being the art, and NFT being the package for the art, and VR being the tool to create that. We're talking about a tool that can be used for expanding people's consciousness, where the drug, as Terence McKenna said, is not the substance that you're taking, but the drug is the technology. The medicine is the technology that you're using. So yeah.
That's a lot of beautiful things. And like, just so that people don't think that this podcast is about getting people high, I mean, that's not at all what, Garrett and I are onto out here. I mean, like, just in perspective, just like in the US workforce, they say that just stress and anxiety costs any given employer about $2,770 per employee. That's like $300 billion that are lost each year. Just to stress and anxiety, like just that, just the US. And a lot of that is people who are just stuck in their own reality. A lot of that is just people who are, you know, in a space where they could absolutely use some more imagination. I didn't know that that's what psychedelic meant. I think that that is a beautiful thing. You said it was mind manifestation. Uh,
Yeah, mind manifesting. It's like a verb for to
Mind
manifest what's
manifesting.
inside of your mind. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
we can have different experiences in the psychedelic state. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
you'll
It,
have a different experience, but they're all sort of on the same path. They unlock similar gateways in the brain
so,
towards, belief.
yeah. So essentially, like it's, you know, unlocking your imagination, if you will. And when I think of VR, I think of VR as programmable imagination. It's this unlimited experience. Like the application of VR is endless. And psychedelics, I think, just help VR folks create. Um, they can create things for people who have done psychedelics or for people who are not comfortable doing psychedelics. End of the day, though, I think the goal is just to make people happier, healthier, and yeah, just living a better life. That's why we're all here, right?
Yeah,
um
it's definitely it's the technology can definitely consume us. We can get consumed into our mobile devices, all day long. We could get nothing done, but we can also use technology for the good of humanity. And that's why I think psychedelics, NFTs for art, and you know for value creation, and then VR. I like what you said. VR being a tool. Um, Essentially, if we can use these tools together, uh, we can create really incredible things for the world. VR
sure.
could replace the medicine, or it could become the medicine, as Trip Trip has done. Um, for a lot of people who are experiencing depression, anxiety, you can put on the headset, and within 8 minutes, you can get a hormone boost, essentially.
That's amazing, man. Hey, I know that you are going to have, a meeting coming up here at the top of the hour. I would love to know some of the stuff you're doing, in VR these days, Garrett.
Yeah, so with VR specifically, uh, the my whole goal of 2020 was to be working in electric dance music for companies like Tomorrowland, Electric Daisy Carnival, and DJs in the EDM space, deep house, that kind of music where you're flowing with the electronic music and you're bringing community together. So there are people from Sensorium to Sansar to Wave XR. These guys are all in this kind of this space. Red Pill VR. They kind of make up this kind of bubble, if you will, of the next generation of Facebooks, of where you go to either a dance floor or a community gathering where the headset is your computer. This is as um, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says, this is the future of computing. AR is the future of computing. So what I've done is I've essentially dove down the rabbit hole for that, and I really enjoyed it. So there's a program that Facebook came out with called Quill, and I really enjoyed my time. Essentially, what you do is you take you can animate stuff, and I could talk about it all day long, but I can go ahead and pull it up here. Um,
Yeah, show
Essentially,
us.
yeah, it's a lot easier to show. And the crazy thing about VR, if someone's watching this on a 2D screen or just listening, it's different when I put on the headset and I see it versus if you've never done VR. It's kind of like when someone says Bitcoin is just a scam, or VR, like, oh, that's a gimmick. It's kind of a similar sentiment in my mind, where it's so much more than that. It's a revolution. It's a paradigm shift in consciousness and in fundamentally how we communicate as humans.
Yeah, not to like get too X-rated, but I have heard it said that things like VR, psychedelics, like these things that are an altered state, um, the easiest way to explain it to folks who have not, participated is that it is a lot like sex. Like if you could imagine explaining sex to someone who had never had sex. When you get inside of that headspace, it truly is like a paradigm shift, like you're not watching something on a two-dimensional screen. You're consumed with this in your reality. Which is why I think that we associate it so much with psychedelics. So yeah, are you able to screen share there?
Yeah. Let
So
me
cool.
see. So the biggest thing with VR right now, where AR is definitely winning, is VR has some friction uh, with setup. So
Cool. And I'll let you play with that so that we can kind of define like VR versus AR. VR is virtual reality. An example is what Garrett has going here. If you can see him on video, um, that is like an actual, headset. It consumes your reality, whereas AR is augmented reality. This would be more like wearing like the Google glasses that you still see the normal world around you, but through these glasses, maybe you're able to see like a digital version of the jacket you're looking at on Amazon, or maybe if you're at a restaurant in the future, instead of reading a menu, you can see like what the plates might look like in front of you, in an augmented reality kind of way. So it's like digital things appearing in normal reality. um you know I know that when I was like putting all of these things together, I was a bit confused by that as well. If you're not watching this right now, it's great. He's in his own world now. Looks like we've got some screen sharing
yeah,
coming.
here we go. I just hit screen share. So I apologize
Stoked.
the noise in the background. I think life happens. I think our washing machine broke. All right. So new place, life. All right. So this is called Quill. So this is Facebook. So when you come into this, when you look around, it kind of feels like you're wearing goggles and like or binoculars without the zoom. Though VR could probably build in a zoom tool pretty easily. So if you this is my menu, so you can see I'm rotating my hand. I can get rid of the menu instructions up there, but essentially as my controllers tells me what to do. These are some things that I actually publish. So if you have an Oculus Quest, you can actually go into Quill Theater and you can view, not just view, but you can sit in the art that I've created. So what is kind of coming is, and it's kind of weird that I'm talking with my VR headset on. I can actually put which is really cool. I can put the zoom, so I can see Micah. If I put, you guys wouldn't be able to see the mirror of this, but I can put Micah up there, and I can have multiple mirrors, like an infinite number of mirrors all around me, or screens, excuse me, where essentially I'm viewing you guys, and I'm having a conversation with multiple worlds here. So I'll just open. This is like some stuff that I worked on. We'll just do the entrance here. Where's the so what I think is kind of going to be pretty prevalent here in the future is for artists, especially who are interested, who maybe don't know about Ethereum and NFTs. Artists are going to have the ability to create an experience that is now going to be able to be shared with just one person. So one person owns a specific asset, as we spoke about a couple weeks ago, and that NFT, that non-fungible token, that somebody owns, can either be sold off, and then the artist will get paid dividends every time a transaction occurs. But this is like something I made. In this case, it's on Facebook's Quest platform, but you can actually animate. Let me. Uh,
Wow, this is cool. So you have like this green-haired mermaidish looking person floating through a virtual reality.
yeah.
This is stellar, man.
So I can open up. These are some of the experiences that I've published. Um, So this one, I think my headphones are a little bit loud here. Uh, Music's a little loud, but you can switch your view, and you can kind of. This is Steve Aoki, a DJ. Essentially, you can see, like, look around. If and you, it's spatial audio, so you can actually. Sorry, I was probably yelling because the music was blasting my ears.
No, you sound good, man. You're
Okay.
you're in
Uh,
your reality, but in our reality, like it's pretty normal.
and then this is the uh, like a meditation experience where you can kind of look around, you can hear the waves, you can like go from a bird's eye perspective. It's like a transcendental experience. Uh, and so these are like art experiences that you can create pretty rapidly. If I go back to,
And like an idea on what he's talking about here with NFTs, essentially what we're talking about is a multitude of things. I can't say that word today. My goodness. It's just a plethora of options, right? Like a person could have the entire experience live inside of a single token that is traded on Ethereum. So, like, this virtual reality could live inside of a single token on Ethereum, and that token, could be worth a lot. I mean, like, if you think of like Disneyland or no one say SeaWorld, controversy, but like that experience is worth billions of dollars. These future virtual experiences will simply be tokenized and placed on Ethereum. Who knows what they may be worth? You could also have, though, NFTs that are the individual things. So instead of having the entire piece of art be a single NFT, you could have each individual piece be a non-fungible token. And you could have a community, you could have a million people that all own a piece of this reality. And they may even be able to do things to that individual piece of art that they own. Like you saw here, we have a DJ up on the DJ stand. you know
oops.
you might have someone who owns like the background and someone who owns like the stage and someone who owns like the DJ jockey little turntable bit, and they may be able to do things like the guy who owns the backdrop may be able to choose that he wants it to be purple today, and the chick who owns the stage may decide that she wants the stage to look like this today. um the options are endless. It truly is amazing. And you could also have it to where the NFT is essentially your ticket to get into the virtual experience. Owning that token is like your special little bit to get inside of, this exclusive Steve Aoki, virtual experience. Right now, if you're only listening to the sounds of our voice, I feel so sad um, for you. This is amazing. Uh, it's not really describable. There's like this cool futuristic DJ setup. You've got Garrett with his headset on and his controllers in his hands. And in our reality that we live in every day, he's just moving his arms about and kind of painting in the air. But in the virtual reality he's controlling, you have just anything you want appearing. He's painted NFT. He's made the bottom of it black and the top of it yellow, and it fades through a color of red. And he's creating all of this in real time. Yeah, he just wrote scale into the sky. It's exactly what this is. This is wow. I'm having my mind blown right now. I'm a very sober person right now. I've been drinking lots of water today, but I'm having my mind blown right now. Like, yeah, I'm just excited to be seeing this. Holy cow, the
Oops.
future is so much
Sorry
faster
about
than we
the
really
mic
think.
drop there.
No, man, you are totally on a mic drop kind of moment right now.
Oh, that was a
I mean, this
coincidence.
is amazing.
Yeah, so this is the ability of vector, essentially ultimate scale. So you can imagine building universes where somebody can be in a super tiny space. Like you can be a mouse on the dance floor, and you could be looking up at an elephant, and so you can experience scale not like a human has experienced scale before. So uh, it's kind of interesting to if somebody who has gone on a journey within their own mind and they've seen fractal shapes, which, sometimes psychedelics can promote in your own mind certain patterns. And then you can actually take something like colors, and in 3D space, you can then duplicate and try to recreate a psychedelic experience to say, hey, you don't have to take psychedelics anymore. You can actually experience what it's like to take a psychedelic, just by like through art. And it doesn't have to be necessarily something that everybody needs to do, but everybody can experience art. And so you can have essentially, you can have someone like an animator, and they can create an experience relatively quickly. What used to take a Pixar studio, a year to make, you can make relatively quickly with a single individual. So as the scale is at least 10x, or the speed is 10x. The ability for somebody like me who's not a traditional animator, I'm usually a world builder, but usually I'm just going to delete this sound so it doesn't come on. You can play sound. If you're a sound designer, you can put sound all around. You can essentially create experiences that people can come into. And as an artist, that's pretty cool, because before you would, let's say you had your artwork in an art gallery as a true artist, that's what all you do. You just sell your paintings or your sculptures. Or as a commercial artist, like an animator, you would essentially be working for a studio. Whereas now, as long as you have imagination, you can actually create an experience that other people can view and can take part in, not just view, but actually participate actively and engage with your medium that you've created in a very intimate and real way, which is it's pretty. Did I paint on the right layer? I missed the layer here. It's still like I said, there's friction. I painted on the wrong layer. I was way off. There it is. But so I can create frames. I'm not an animator, but I can actually now take like a tool, and I can move these things around in real time. I can animate, which was pretty much never possible before. So you can see that yellow line, maybe if you're in, I can actually make really quickly like some dance moves for these psychedelic kind of patterns that you might see if you're on like a trip. Uh,
Wow, man. I mean, if you're not seeing this, like he's basically in just a matter of a few minutes taken a few lines, turned them into like this ridiculous like carnival psyche explosion. And then keep in mind too that we're seeing this on a 2D screen, but our guy Garrett is in there in an actual, four-dimensional full-on experience. And as an artist, he's creating this art, and art, it has a value to it. So you could save this file into that token again that's traded on Ethereum, and then like he might make a piece of art and put it in this file, and then who knows, like he may sell it to DJs who want like this cool piece of art in their virtual experiences or in their augmented experiences. If you could imagine going to like the future club, and it's one experience without the glasses on, and it's another experience with the glasses on. You know, it's normal people dancing and it's Star Wars people dancing if you put the glasses on. I mean, I'm just
yeah,
over here having my mind blown right now, Garrett. This is beautiful. You've made some really cool stuff in just a matter of minutes.
yeah, it's really fun. I actually just got spoken to today about doing a job, music festival or music video using this software. So I'm pretty excited getting to do that this week. And uh, it's a lot of fun, and you can really just expand your horizons. So anybody who says like I'm feeling depressed, like there's nothing left for me in life, I say, you know what? Have you tried VR? Like this might actually blow your mind, and it could pull you out of something maybe you're going through. It might give you some insight into there's something more than the reality that, as Micah said, that you're living in right now.
Wow, man, beautifully said. That was just amazing. Like, I mean, you can't explain really what this future could be. I mean, that it could affect every aspect of life, right? Like, we're moving into this first time in human history that we can create realities and experiences that are not held by the laws of physics. Like, whoa.
Yeah, actually, there's some really cool physics programs. They probably won't come across on Zoom very well. I'd have to record them separately, but they, I don't know how choppy it was. It was probably pretty choppy. It looks, for some reason, my
It was
video feed looks
amazing.
super choppy. But it's really fun, and it just inspires you to the sky is not the limit. The space and the galaxies are not the limit. There is no limit to what is possible now. And as we were talking about abundance last time, if you can see that things are flowing together uh, with technology, Ethereum and Bitcoin, these spaces are actually influencing virtual reality. And now projects are going to start being funded. The higher the Ethereum and Bitcoin price goes, the more projects get funded. It's this virtuous cycle where the bigger and better projects are going to start popping up, and you're going to see that we're having a democratization of studios. So animation studios, I predicted this several years ago, that well, in 2014 I wrote a paper about how NVIDIA and GPUs would take over essentially all render farms everywhere. Whereas before it was all CPU based. I said, no, this is all moving to GPU. And now with Unreal Engine, essentially you can create a person that looks as real as me, minus maybe a few like little things that aren't quite there. You can create that unlimited poly count, which means unlimited detail, and super realistic lighting, super realistic simulated environment. And once you add haptic feedback onto that, you have a multi-sensory experience where essentially you are, you have godlike abilities where you get to become the designer of your own world and you get to create things. And, maybe we get bored of that, but it's certainly a fun journey to be on.
Wow, man. Yeah, programmable imagination, having the visual to that was really cool. You're speaking to like how crypto and all these things are connected. A project that I'm very excited about here in 2021 is a group called Dot. Dot is um, founded by a guy who was one of the lead technical designers on the Ethereum mainframe. And essentially, like, Dot is Ethereum 2.0, but today, like, we've been all waiting around for Ethereum 2.0 to come out, and Dot achieves a lot of the things that Ethereum 2.0 does. But they announced today that they are going to have a rebrand, and that rebrand is being funded in cryptocurrency, their own crypto, Dot tokens. And that rebrand is having virtual augmented type of rebranding aspects applied to it. Like, the future is today, and it is faster than we think, my friend. um
Indeed.
wow, man.
Yeah, Peter Diamandis put it in the abundance community last week. He said, "What's one thing you brought from 2021, or what's your biggest takeaway?" And I said, "The future was quite literally faster than I thought." That, like, after reading his book and he said like these things are going to happen, I didn't think, like, my human brain, my linear thinking human brain didn't think that the things that I thought were going to happen by 2025 or 2030 could possibly get condensed into this tiny short time frame.
Wow, man. Yeah. Yeah. Peter, he had a little quote in the book that I think contextualized a lot of these things. And he said, this magical future ahead is called the spatial web, and it will transform every aspect of our lives. Um, and I can't explain that, right? Because it's every aspect of our lives. um, the future feels like it's here, man. I'm stoked to be building this with you and stoked to have everyone here on what apparently just became a new podcast. Um, Having some community and, some folks to build this future all together. So,
Yeah, it's a great community once you're a part of it and you can kind of feel like you're in it, then you just want to contribute. And I think I got the bug, I got bit. The virus is technology, but also I think that there's this mixing where the community factor comes in with you. You mentioned this morning you were doing yoga or you're doing yoga. Uh, it's nights outside. I think that there's a huge aspect where nature, it's not technology or nature, it's technology merging with nature as this new life form takes place where human cyborg evolution actually isn't so science fiction anymore. Teleportation doesn't seem so off, once you have haptics in there and you can really feel like vibration on your chest or on your fingers, and you can type in the air or you can think something. And for example, there's an actual VR experience where you think a thought and you can actually cause the shapes to move. I think I referenced that last time, but I referenced that a lot, where mind, your mind, and actually has the ability to have neurofeedback and biofeedback, and all these things are neuroscience. And obviously Elon Musk's technology with Neuralink, these things are giving us this alternate reality. It doesn't replace this reality. This reality is still here and it's still beautiful. But I think what it does is it allows us to, kind of like what the internet did on a flat screen, it allows us to peer into a different universe and create so much value. Whereas this is the internet, but you're immersed into it. And then you have blockchain on top of that, where the sky's not even the limit. You just have infinite possibilities. It's yeah, it's pretty abstract. I think you do a lot better job at making it more concrete.
yeah, we each bring our own value here, Um, I I don't even know, man. Like I know we're coming to the top of the hour, and like we could just talk like literally all day and just nonstop about these things. Um, I feel like, to your point about how it's not getting rid of nature, similar to psychedelic experiences, with every psychedelic experience I've ever had that was, substance induced, I've always had lessons I brought back from those experiences. And I feel like this is what we're able to move into, where we can get into that space, maybe on the daily, maybe on the hourly, and without, the need for, substances. Not to put down substances. Like, I think there's a time and a place for those things. I fully plan on doing mushrooms the rest of my life. Um, but it's like, if we can help this be more accessible to more people, that's where real profound healing can take place as, just a humanity and just as a global population. And I'm super excited to be, just building a world where more people are healthy and happy and, living productive, lives, and
Yeah.
less people bogged down by stress and anxiety and just the pain that is sometimes the realities that we build for ourselves. Sometimes getting out of your own mind is the only way to get into your own mind. So
Mm.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that's beautiful. I think that we have a long ways to go, obviously, with society experiencing, turmoil, but we can definitely, if we can build this future, we can eliminate poverty 99.9, 9%. I think that we can create an abundant future, and we can do it through blockchain, merging with virtual reality, and bringing those lessons from psychedelics into this space that the plants on earth are here to teach us. And yeah, they're here for our good, if we use them wisely.
Yeah, man. I love it. They they talk about like robots taking over jobs and everything being automated, and it's like, well, what are people going to do? Are they just going to sit around and make art all the time? And it's like, maybe, maybe,
Please.
yeah. And maybe it just won't be paintings and music. Maybe it will be other dimensions and other realities. Like,
Yeah, I think the coolest part about this, last week I got to experience, with some people that you previously mentioned. We got to go into a VR experience where we had collaboration. I was in my room, they were in their rooms separately, a wall apart from each other, but we could see each other's avatars, and we were creating at the same time in AR, VR, and on the PC. And it was just, yeah, complete. It was mind blowing. It was
Mind
amazing.
melt, man. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, let's wrap up the recording here and
Beautiful.
leave something for people to come back to. Um, yeah, let's do this, as often as we can. If you're listening to this and you want to hear us like delve into more, ask questions. The questions are great things to answer to make more content, and yeah, just really start to contextualize this future that, at least Garrett and I believe is the future, but also like billions of dollars of funding from the most massive companies believe is the future. So we're
Yeah.
happy to
Agreed.
be on the journey, man.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Micah. This has been beautiful. I love if anybody, in the future or the past is watching this, beautiful. If you find out how to time travel, welcome here.
Yeah, welcome to reality, man. Cool.
All right. It was great chatting.